Hi, Pam.
Hi, Rita. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our midday musing. We've been together now for almost 6 to 7 weeks, I believe. And this is our seventh episode. And we are so excited to be able to continue sharing, and we're excited about it. So, Pam, what have you thought about for today?
Well, today I was thinking about something kind of serious.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about? I know we've been talking about daily practices that we do
That's right.
every single day, and I've been especially focusing on daily practices to clear our mind and our
Okay.
hearts. And what do you think about the topic of forgiveness?
Ooh, forgiveness. Okay. I think that's a great topic because we are talking about daily practices. So, what would you say is your definition for forgiveness?
Definition. You call me on definitions. Okay, let me look it up here. Um, okay, there's a definition on Wikipedia. But I think for me, a concise definition that I've read in a book is cease to feel resentment against.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
if you want, I can read the Wikipedia one too. But I think what struck me about that definition, I think about the word cease, meaning stop.
Mm-hmm.
Feel, there's a feeling that comes that we need to stop, which is the challenge of forgiveness.
Okay.
So, would you like to hear the
Go ahead.
Okay. Forgiveness is the intentional and voluntary process by which a victim undergoes a change in feelings and attitude regarding an offense and overcomes negative emotions such as resentment and vengeance, however justified it might be.
Wow.
What do you think
Okay.
of that one?
I think, when you think of forgiveness, we usually think about something that is a big thing. Like, I have to forgive so and so because they have destroyed my future, or, they just did something so big. But
Hmm.
what we don't understand is that every single day we have to forgive,
Yeah,
because every single day we have little things that annoy us and irritate us, or that cause us, small resentments. And because we don't pay attention to it, it builds up.
sure.
And as it builds up, it starts to work on our hearts and our minds.
Yeah,
And so that's why I think that making forgiveness as a daily practice, a daily habit,
yeah.
is a good thing.
Yeah.
What would you say a lack of forgiveness looks like?
Lack of forgiveness. I think when I lack forgiveness, I withdraw. I'm grumpy. There is energy that's lost. Um, you're having this big cloud over your head.
Mm-hmm,
You
mm-hmm.
can you like describe a time? Can you think of a time where you didn't forgive or the struggle of forgiveness? Has that ever happened to you?
Many times.
Can you share a moment
Many times,
that
yes.
cleansed
Well,
your heart?
yeah. And, I would think that because I'm a person of faith, it would be easier for me to do so.
Mm,
And then I realized forgiveness was a tricky thing,
right.
because even though, it's easy to say, oh, I forgive you. When someone does something against you and they apologize, or sometimes they don't apologize, in your mind, you go, oh, I forgive you. But you don't really forgive because it comes back again.
Yeah,
Or, when you
yeah,
think about that person, or what you say about that person,
right.
or that whatever they did to offend you keeps coming back again. And then your mind starts to question, like, why did he say it? Or why did she do it? And what did I do wrong? But I didn't do anything wrong. And how could she have done it? And then you actually haven't forgiven, right?
Exactly.
So I had a time like that when I had to forgive somebody, and I told in my heart, I told myself, and I prayed and I said, okay, I forgive you. I forgive
Yeah,
that person.
yeah.
But every time I saw that person, I just didn't want to talk to them.
Right, right, right.
And I wanted to like run away from them. I don't want
Yeah,
to talk to
yeah,
them. And when I thought about them, or if I happened to talk about them, I couldn't say anything good about them.
right.
And then I'd be like, oh, Rita, you haven't forgiven this person. You need to forgive him.
Yeah,
So I would go to God every day and I'd go, God, I forgive this person. I really forgive this person.
yeah,
But I would find myself saying that every single day, and still not have that feeling gone away from me.
Yeah.
That feeling where I was stuck.
Right.
Because I wanted to forgive,
Yeah.
but I just hadn't.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, what do you think was happening there? What was the process going
Right.
on over there?
Well, thank you for sharing that because you really brought to life the challenge with forgiveness. Because a lot of times we say, I forgive you. And if someone asks you a little bit, yeah, I've forgiven, but we don't really sit in the pain.
Mm,
There's an emotional component, and that's what this definition cease to feel resentment. How do we
right.
stop and cease to feel that resentment? Because that feeling is so real. And I don't know
Yeah.
if there's a comfort we get from that resentment feeling or some kind of healing, but that's a deception, I think.
Yeah, it's
So,
true.
yeah,
It's true.
so I think there's an emotional pain that we need to recognize if we want to forgive, you
Yeah,
know?
you're right. And I think for me, this is how I went about it,
Yeah,
because I thought to myself, like just to go back to what you were saying earlier, sometimes we feel anger, when someone's done something to us, and that anger feels like a noble cause, like you're holding on to it, right?
right,
You're like, man, I got to right this wrong. And then other times you feel hurt, and so it causes sadness,
right.
which then leads to a sort of depression, almost comforting,
Yeah,
almost justifying that feeling. And so I believe both are wrong. And I know what I realized is there are certain steps that you have to take if
hmm
you want to forgive somebody,
hmm very cool. Can you share the
and
steps?
well, this is what I've learned or I'm learning and I've studied about it is you first acknowledge the pain,
Right,
right? A lot of times, especially as leaders or people who aspire to be leaders, people are going to hurt you. I
absolutely.
mean, you can't please everybody, right?
Right.
Someone's gonna
Yeah,
hurt you. Not
yep,
everyone's gonna like you. Not everyone thinks you're great. And
yep,
so someone's gonna do something to really, really hurt you.
yep,
We can't just brush it aside and go, oh, I'm strong. That's
right.
okay. I don't care what they think. Then you're not acknowledging
Yeah,
the hurt. You're not acknowledging that pain because we're human beings.
yeah,
Our instinct is to fight or flight, right? Our instinct is to fight back. Our instinct is to take revenge
yeah.
because it's inside of us. But there's also another instinct, which is to forgive,
Mm,
to show mercy.
right.
So we have both inside of us
Yeah,
the willingness to like really want to take revenge and teach them a lesson, or the willingness to say, okay, I will extend mercy to you and I will forgive you.
yeah.
And so it's what we choose, I believe, right? And so,
Absolutely, absolutely. I really think I appreciate you bringing out the choice, because that's what we forget when we're in our emotional pain. I think one of the scripture that helps me is Colossians 3:13,
mhm,
where it talks about forgive as the Lord forgave you. And sometimes we forget how we have hurt people or what we've been forgiven because for some reason the plank in someone else's looks so much bigger than our own. We're like,
that's
their
true.
sin is so huge, and you forget our
Yes,
own sin.
right.
So and that's one thing, and the other thing that helps me or like work through forgiveness is cleaning out my mental brain, because you're talking about
Mhm.
a daily practice.
Yes.
And I know Jesus said in our Lord's Prayer,
Yeah.
Father, forgive us our sins as we forgive
Yes.
others. So
Yeah.
it's a time of just examining
Hmm.
um, our mental space. In the same way, if we allow bitterness or negative emotions
Yeah.
and not really deal with that, then it's actually affecting our mental health. So it really helps to just speak about it out, like you said, acknowledge it.
Yeah.
And I appreciate our friendship because I was able to talk to you about times things that I couldn't forgive or got hurt, and working through it, it
Yeah.
helps. So
Abs-
maybe we can just summarize
Yeah.
what forgiveness is and how we can overcome it.
Absolutely. And I love how, Jesus, I think, embodies that forgiveness for us.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
sometimes, I even have said to myself, I'm not like Jesus, or I'm not Jesus,
Yeah,
because I felt it was
because
so
of the
difficult.
hurt. Yeah.
But I think you're right. the steps of, first of all, acknowledging the
Mhm.
hurt
Right.
and then identifying the emotion. What is it that you're feeling? Is
Yep.
it anger? Is it sadness?
Mhm.
Is it, or what is it causing? So when you acknowledge and then you identify your emotion, then I read somewhere, and I can't remember the book, it says when someone hurts you, it's almost like they owe you something,
Mm. Mm.
right? They've taken something from you. They took away your peace. They took away a piece of you.
Right.
And so what do you do about it? Is you cancel it.
Mm.
You don't expect the payment. So by extending mercy,
Yeah.
it's almost like you're canceling that check,
Yeah.
right? You're like, fine, you don't owe me,
Yeah. Yeah.
because we think that someone mistreated us
Right.
and it has to be set right. I mean, that's how our brain thinks.
Yep.
And then our body reacts to it, because I know science has proved that if you don't forgive,
Mm.
it can lead to a lot of physical ailments, like
Right.
mental ailments,
Right.
anxiety, depression, blood pressure,
Mm.
so many things that affects our body. We can actually get sick if
Right.
we don't forgive.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a scary thought, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the one of the brain Dr. Caroline Leaf, who studies neuroscience, she said our brain is wired for love.
Mm-hmm.
And so the reason our body's reacting is because unforgiveness is not loving.
Yes,
So,
exactly.
yeah. So thank you for sharing that. I was thinking we can end with a quote about
Yep,
forgiveness.
go ahead. Tell us the code, ma'am.
All right. It says, to forgive is to set a prisoner free and discover that the prisoner was you.
Oh boy.
That's by Louis B. Smeets. So let's
That is
end with
such
that
an
and chew on that for a bit.
that is such an apt quote, because I do believe that if we become people who are willing to forgive and practice this forgiveness,
Uh-huh.
even if it's the small things, right?
Right.
Our self-esteem will grow,
Yeah.
because we then are able to see what we can do. The canceling of the debt, like I
Yep.
said,
Yep.
when you cancel a debt, you actually feel good.
That's some power.
Exactly. And who would not want to have that?
Yeah.
It's the deception that keeps us holding on as a
So
prisoner.
true. So true.
So I want to encourage us to like practice this
Yeah.
daily forgiveness, asking yourself that question every day.
Yeah.
Who do I need to forgive today?
Perfect.
And sometimes we have to forgive ourselves,
Yeah. Yeah. It's
you
true.
know. And so I guess we are coming to the end of our musing. I
Yeah.
hope that that was a useful topic for us.
Yes.
And
Appreciate you, bringing it out. And I know it's a very hard topic, but I'm glad we're able to talk about it. So I will see you next week. Let's sign off.
next week.
All right, and bye bye.